Welcome back. Now, according to reports, suspected pipeline vandals invaded Igbo Lomu community in the Ikorodu area of Lagos, recently shooting sporadically in the air. Following the massive shooting, 30 over 30 have been feared dead, leaving the residents in fear. The Landlord Association has, however, written that bunkering should be curbed in that area. As a result of this, NNPC has stopped distributing petrol from the pipelines in the area. Now, what are your thoughts on this, especially because we're Lagosians, we live here, and finding out this happening in our own community is a bit different from when you hear far away somewhere else. True. Now, joining us on the you can call us on you can join the conversation by calling 070-80-668-014. You can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC. We'd like to read your tweets too. All right, we're going to also call the Commissioner of Information and Strategy, Mr. Steve Ayoride, at some point in the show just to get his own. Okay, he's on standby. Let me talk to him first. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Good morning.
Hello, sir.
Good morning.
Mr. Steve, are you there? I think we're still trying to connect.
Can you hear me?
All right.
I think it's
I read the...
Good morning.
Hello, sir. Are you there? Good morning.
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Hello?
Hello? I can hear you.
Okay, I can't hear Mr. Steve.
I can hear you.
Okay, so what are your thoughts? So let me start with Tokwe.
It was all over social media as immediately it happened that some people were saying that people were killing other people within their area and they were breaking the news. Sadly, when I got the full detail, it's that the Landlord Association of a particular area in Ikorodu reported the issue of bunkering officially, and military were deployed there for a while, and they actually stood their ground and prevented bunkering from taking place. When they did that, based on crisis going on in other parts of the country, the military have been redeployed from that area. So the security there is not as tight as before, and there's a reprisal attack on the Landlord Association and suspected people that snitched on them, sort of. And they were going to people's houses to kill them. You know, so for me, it's beyond, and crises happen everywhere, Murayo. Yesterday I watched on CNN that somewhere in California, Sacramento something, there was an attack between two groups, stabbing. But there was swift response from the police to stop it. So we can't say that somebody would not get angry or lawlessness would not happen. Yeah. But how swift is the response of our police to protect us? And this happened between Lagos State and Ogun State. So yes, obviously,
it's a border town.
A border town.
Yeah.
We're still trying to get the commissioner. Hello, is he there? Okay, we're still having issues. Yes, Jumake, let me hear your thoughts
I was
on this.
worried about this because, Mariah, it didn't happen in one day. It happened over a period of days, meaning that they came today, retreated back into the waters, they came the next day, they just kept on attacking over and over. And I questioned people who lived in that area. By Friday, they were living in fear. By Friday, the people who were in Igbalao, the community itself, couldn't come out of their houses. The ones who had gone to work couldn't go back home because they were now killing people on the streets. And I totally agree about swift response. Now, some people were saying this community is not exactly in Lagos, so it is the issue of the Ogun State government. Well, I saw the Ogun State Commissioner of Police mentioning that they were going to, this is not allowed. He was promoting police officers in their commission and was saying, and this is not allowed, they're going to pursue the people who did this. And then the Commissioner of Police in Lagos came out and said, only 6 people, and we've issued a manhunt.
But let me try, I think he's on now. Good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning, Mariah.
Hi, thanks for joining us on the show. Now, this issue that happened over the weekend. Yes, we'd like to get an update from the Lagos State government on what has happened, what are you doing, and what you plan to do.
Okay, thank you very much, Mariah. I've listened to you ladies, and you're very correct. It was essentially about the response, the adequacy of the response of the police. Don't forget the fact that there was panic and pandemonium when this happened, but the police did respond, and the Commissioner of Police from Lagos State was on the ground himself. Yes, by the time reinforcement came, not only from both the Lagos and Ogun State end of the police, but also from the federal, the military, were involved. By the time they got there, yeah, casualties have been recorded. But at least they were able to calm the place down. They were able to drive out the hoodlums and the criminals, who escaped through the creeks. This has been an ongoing problem. And from what you have read in the news, there's a manhunt going on at the moment to ensure that everybody who partook in that dastardly act.
Okay. All right. What does the state government plan to do going forward to prevent this from happening in future?
Well, I mean, it will be hard to say that you can prevent people running mad. But like Jumoke said, what we are trying to do is to ensure that there is a permanent or a near permanent military presence in that axis. That is one. Secondly, you recall that in November, December last year, the governor actually visited the area, and one of the things he promised, which we're still working on in consonance with Ogun State and the NMPC, is to actually open up that entire space from Owutu and that other aspect of Ikorodu by constructing an overhead bridge all the way to Arepo in Ogun State, because these are, this has to do essentially with the pipeline, and those who are responsible for this are vandals. But by the time we open up that place, as I said, working with the Ogun State government and working with NMPC, because this is federal government property, it means that there will be a lot of attention around that area. There will be a lot more security. There will be a lot more development, and it will be hard for people to sneak in the night thinking that this is a backwater area and therefore they can cause, havoc and mayhem. Once that place opens up in totality, these will practically reduce, if not totally eradicated. But of course, before then, certainly military presence will improve, air surveillance will increase, and the police has assured the government that they are working hand in hand with Ogun State to ensure that they deal with this situation decisively.
Yes.
So, Mr. Steve, the issue of coming through the creeks is a known fact. The fact that the police has been empowered with water gadgets is also known. How come they still coming through the creeks, go through the creeks, and we can't find a way to permanently station? The creeks is a volatile part in the Ikorodu state. We need to permanently station military or police points over the boats, over the waterways. What's the police patrol, water patrol?
There are only 2 gunboats in Lagos State. As you know, it used to be only 1. Now we have 2. Gunboats and patrolling waterways, particularly creeks, but it's not a very easy exercise. And you know that it is not only that aspect of the town that the 2 gunboats that we have are patrolling, if you know what I mean. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you very clearly.
Exactly. So we can only do the much that we are empowered to do. And you know that the gunboat that was provided by the Lagos State government came from Lagos State government to assist the police. As I said, this is a federal responsibility.
Okay.
Police is a federal responsibility.
All
The creeks, so to speak, are federal waters. We will try as much as possible to engage the military to have a permanent presence there. But look at it from what is also happening on the creeks, or what used to happen on the creeks of the Niger Delta. It is not an area that you can manage 24/7.
Okay.
But you will do your best to ensure that you work on intelligence, you make maximum use of the officers and the equipment that you have, just to ensure that there is safety, of lives and property.
All right.
But to say that you can just simply deploy gunboats permanently, how many do we have? If Lagos State had not donated those gunboats, to the Nigerian police, we would have been left,
All right, sir.
protected.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate
You're welcome.
your being on the show.
You.
Have a nice day. Yeah.
I have been in a situation where, what's it called? Some people just decide to go crazy and they pick up arms and they want to start killing. For us, I think what the government should think of right now is, because somebody is sending a tweet and saying that his own area is very close to that place and there's no trace of police or army or whatever around that vicinity. When like Tope was trying to ask him, when you know that this place is already a volatile area and it's something that is constantly happening,
they should give priority, because I don't know how the police now, they are placing. No, I'm saying that I don't know how the police are placing when it comes to, stationing their men. Because what it means is that when you notice that this particular area is volatile, what you should do in terms of security is to give priority to that area, so that at any time anything erupts, immediately that's
where the local policing comes in again, because you
state
see,
policing.
when we have state police, it's easier then to get people to be in every nook and
from the grassroots.
You know, the areas. But I think what I picked from what he said, that the more permanent solution is when you commercialize that, where there's a bridge, you open up that entire market. There won't be hidden areas anymore. Then there's
light up the area.
You light up the areas. Police are able to move around freely, so they'll protect that region better.
What I picked up from the entire story is, the federal government is fighting a lot of wars across Nigeria now, and the issue of security falls within the federal purview. Just like here, let me empower you. Also, the Navy, as much as they are supposed to be external waters, we're not fighting any external war now. Can we deploy Navy officials, Navy police to monitor our waterways? Because when we had armed robbery in 3 locations in Lagos, it was through the waterways. So we can't just fold our arms and say there's nothing we can do, and people start losing their lives like that.
The story they've had over the years is that there's no link between federal government and state government. Now we know that federal government, state government is one party. I think there should be a bit of synergy in terms of working. When we had crisis in Kaduna, a phone call, Obasanjo would deploy troops and military men to come and help the situation.
Our hearts goes out to all that have
lost their lives.
Let's take a quick break. We're going to switch a bit now, because there was another hot topic, I think, last week concerning should bank finance electioneering campaigns. Is that what we're talking about? No, I thought it was the 10,000 naira.
10,000 naira, because we discussed banks financing elections already.
That was with the fire story. Okay, we'll talk about the 10,000 naira. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back. All right, so I think we're going to just focus on the banks loaning money to for political campaigns, just because of the fire history that happened. Banks, as we know, are financial institutions, but with the recent controversy over the politicians like Fayose for borrowing from the banks to finance their political ambitions, they are unable to refund back the after losing elections. Now we ponder, should banks actually give out money for electioneering campaigns? Joining us on the show is the Executive Director, Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project, Barrister Adetokunbo Mumuni. Welcome to the show, sir.
It's a pleasure having me.
Right. So, I don't want us to talk so much about Governor Fayose, because he's been over-talked about the whole of last week, weekend, every corner, everybody's analyzing, is it right, is it not right? We don't want to focus on him, but we just want to talk generally, educate us, help us understand. If I want to run for office, can I go to a bank and say, please, loan me money to do that? Now, that's the first fundamental question. They will not ask other questions. So is it legal to ask a bank to loan money for campaign?
As a matter of fact, I have painstakingly gone through the law regulating banking business in Nigeria. It is called the Bank and Other Financial Institutions Act 1990. You see, banks are supposed to collect deposits, to give loans for commercial activities, never for political activities. You see, the reason, as a matter of fact, if I happen to be a politician and I wrote specifically to a bank to give me loan to finance my political campaign, you understand, and eventually I'm not able to pay, when the bank says, where is the money? I have a right to raise illegality, because what the bank did in the first place is illegal. There is nowhere in the law guiding banking activity in Nigeria that says you can give loan to finance politics.
Okay. What if you come on the guise of, I need a loan for my business, and then you use it for politics?
You see, what you said was that
You came on the guys.
what I thought you were saying was that the bank knew
Your head.
that
So
I would be using this to finance.
Okay, so that's
my
one scenario.
campaign.
And
How
that
about
scenario-
if I have my collateral?
Yes.
Like the politicians that spoke up concerning this said that the banks were threatening to take their properties in Maitama, Abuja,
Yes.
which they put down as collateral for the loan.
Yes.
So yes, I have properties worth this money, and I'm asking the bank to give me money based on over the next few years I'll refund you.
But if you are saying I want it to finance my business, that would be okay. But if you say
So-
I want to use this for
But if you say you want to use to finance business, usually don't you provide a lot of documents to prove that you indeed have a business that requires that amount of money?
that is part of the due diligence that the banks are supposed to
Okay.
examine.
What
before
I'm
giving
picking
you-
from what you're saying, sir, is that banks financing politicians in their elections over the years,
Yes.
as they have done, as we have seen that they've done, as being illegal.
Yes.
But even the president mentioned when he was going to go for a loan
Yeah.
for his 27 million naira nomination form. So that was illegal.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Now, the people in Abuja, senators that the
Yes.
banks have come after to take their houses, you are saying that they have a right to now say what you did in the first instance was illegal.
Because I will plead the illegality.
Okay.
Because out of an illegal action, there can be no cause of action.
Okay, so you mean they can get away with those loans if they don't repay based on this illegality?
If
They are able to prove it.
what they told the bank was that I want to use this for politics.
Wow.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Because we know that right now, you're saying that taking a loan for commercial purpose. As far as I am concerned, politics is like a commercial business.
It is not. It is not. It is not.
That is my own view.
No, let me tell you.
Politics is like commercial business. So if I'm collecting money, and I know that in the next by the time we come into power in the next 2 years, I'm able to pay
You see,
back. It's a business now.
That is a corruption of what commercial business is and what politics is.
Okay.
What we know about commercial business is trading, industry, manufacturing, production. Not it will be
Not any salary.
and it will be stretching the word too extremely.
What is buying and selling now?
No,
I
it's
buy a
not.
bag of rice, and I give them bag of rice. Then they give me their vote. Is that not buying and selling?
No. As a matter of fact, that violates the provisions of the Electoral Act.
Okay.
So we have the case of, you said we shouldn't discuss Fayose, but let's just say that we have a case of a politician who approaches a bank. When the banks did the merger, and from Soludo to even Sanusi, a lot of stiff rules were put in place before you can give loans. Documentations must be done. We don't have a Fayose saying that Zenith Bank sponsored me, and Zenith is saying no, we did not sponsor. Was it that there was no documentation to show how money was transferred from one account to the other? Do we still have a case where a bank can send money based on discretion of an individual without documentation to back up the loan being given?
As a matter of fact, for every bank, and it applies to all Nigerian banks, there are rules, procedures, and regulations before loans are granted after a formal application. Now, to know who is actually saying the truth or not, one has to go to the records. How was the loan applied for? For what purposes? What were the documents submitted? Who granted the approval for the loan? Because most loans are granted, most loans are granted from the headquarters, not from the branches. Yes. That is the rule.
Because I read a paper that said that EFCC is actually going after the banks now.
Yes.
So obviously, because there's been a lot of these kind of transactions going on that the banks have been doing for many years without nobody raising a flag. But now with this new administration, how can the banks protect themselves in this situation?
And their loan.
You see, the first rule is sometimes we take a lot of things for granted. Suddenly, an administration comes, it says, I want to enforce the rules. It's not that these rules have not been in existence before. You see, the problem generally in Nigeria is the refusal to follow rules and procedure. So that if a new administration now comes, people will now start interpreting it as wish hunting, politics, and all those things.
Okay.
Somebody is just coming to do the right
thing.
So now that the banks have been doing all these illegalities,
Yes.
giving out loans to politicians,
Yes.
how do we hold the banks accountable? Because this thing now, it is people like us that are SMEs that are suffering.
Yes.
You know, they would give us loans at ridiculous prices, and meanwhile the politicians are there unable to pay and defaulting loans that they are being borrowed. Now, who do we report these banks to? And if they now found guilty, what then happens to that kind of a bank?
No. You see, under the Bank and Other Financial Institutions Decree, once you violate any of the rules that are supposed to guide the way you operate, one of the ultimate consequences is that your license will be revoked.
Wow.
It's part of the law.
So how is customers' fund now protected if the license of a bank is revoked?
If the license of a bank is revoked, the next natural institution in the banking system that will take over will be the NDIC. Okay. That is why the NDIC is supposed to be the insurer of the depositor's money, not the insurer in the general sense. That's what the NDIC is for.
Yeah. Okay.
You see, they say Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation. So it is not insuring the assets of the bank. It's insuring the funds of the bank customers.
So is the NDIC able to pay back every depositor their fund, their money?
Now, when the NDIC decree was promulgated in 1988 under the Babangida regime, there is a cap. If a bank fails, you are only entitled to 50,000 naira.
Exactly.
Yes.
No, but that's old law.
That's old law. Subsequently, an amendment was made to the NDIC Act. I think it raised the thing to about 250,000 naira.
Imagine if I have 15 million in one bank.
You see, the rationale for that is that the overwhelming majority of bank customers are the poor people. Yes, that is the rationale for that.
But that's not true.
That's the correct thing. That's the correct thing. No, it was a research conducted across the banks.
Okay.
And it came up with the conclusion that the bulk of bank customers are poor people.
At least.
And so that if you have billions of naira, you'll be doing a lot of other business than depositing your money.
I think we'll take a quick break now because what I've learned so far from what you said is
Yes.
that if indeed they go after the EFC goes after the banks for doing this illegality,
it will be justified.
It's possible. The worst case scenario is that license will be revoked. If that happens, I shouldn't fear because my money is protected somewhat. Somewhat, not totally. That's what I've learned so far. But let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll still have our guests. We'll ask more questions. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We have Shola from Ijaye. Good morning. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Good morning.
Keeping. Go ahead.
I'm a first time caller on your program this morning. Yeah, I just want to add my own view to what you are discussing about this political funding. You see, there is one thing that is wrong in this country. Every illegality has been legalized in this country. How can, if a commercial bank is for commercial purpose, and a governor went to a commercial bank to go and borrow money for political purpose, and if he have the mind, the God, to come on here and say he went to so bank to go and borrow money for political purpose, and the bank came out to say no, we did not borrow them, and we saw so many tweets showing them kneeling down in front of fire shade. This is a pure illegality and it has to be treated as such. Let me tell you something. If we should go into detail about what is happening in this country, a lot of politicians will go to prison.
All right. right. Thank you very much, Shola.
I
have
wanted
to
to ask him a
from
question,
Daniel.
though, that when the president said he was going to a bank to borrow 27
Maybe
million,
we don't know the rule.
we didn't think it was a big deal. So lots of politicians have been doing it, thinking it was okay.
That's what he's saying
No,
now.
but the
that
problem-
the
No,
fact
I'm talking
that-
about what Shola is saying.
No, but he had already answered that the fact that they have been doing it does not make it right.
Right.
You know, it's,
Okay, the issue I'm having now is that all these illegalities are happening, but the truth is that there's a fallout. People might lose their jobs. Right now, Guy Murray Bruce also the same issue. AMCON has seized his company, but I'm hearing that they may have reopened it. But the point is that EFCC is going after these people. AMCON is going after these people. People are being thrown out to the job market. Now, is it possible that, as much I don't like to say that we should continue the illegality, but what's the fallout? What now that you've thrown these people into the job? If God forbid they go after the banks, for example, and seize their license, that's more people in the market.
May I correct that Ben Bruce's own was 10 years ago. It's not related to politics. He took
Yeah,
a
I'm
loan
just
for
saying
his company.
Generally now, but having people being thrown back into the job market because as a result of these
Following the rule of
illegalities.
law.
Yes.
No, you see, it's either we want to straighten out Nigeria or we want to continue in the same way. You see, that people have been sleeping over enforcement of law all this while before Buhari came. Does not mean that because some temporary inconvenience will occur. Does not mean we have to agree to continue.
Okay, let me take this call from Hassan from Lekki. Good morning, are you there?
Yeah. Good morning,
Good morning,
everybody.
please go ahead.
The issue of politicians going to banks and take loans, we are just looking at it from the surface level. We don't look at it from mortgaging the state concern. Immediately, bank gave you money. Bank, they are our necessary evils. They don't give you anything for free.
Yes, so
Immediately you take that money, that state is in trouble. And the whole, everything meant for infrastructure, education, and whatsoever is gone already. And that is how much decadent our society has become in such a way that institutions that were made purposely for economic development, we are now sandwiched, turned upside down to service some few individual, parochial-minded individuals in our society.
Fantastic point, Hassan, because maybe that's why internationally it's not allowed for you to go to the bank. You have to raise funds to go for campaigns. So you don't have,
I have a question though. Over the past 1 year of the new administration, we've been hearing more about cases going to court and be delayed in court. The delay tactics employed by lawyers like you to keep on finding loopholes in the law to stop the judicial process and extend the court case. How are you as a lawyer going to address your fellow colleagues who are being bottleneck in our fight against corruption?
Let me tell you this. The law in Nigeria and the rules of professional conduct for lawyers in Nigeria is not different from the rule of professional conduct for lawyers in the UK. So, you see, it is the same problem that I talk about, lack of the will to implement. We have rules.
So it's from the government?
No. For example, from the bar, for instance, there is what you call the General Council of the Bar. There is what you call the Legal Practitioner Disciplinary Committee. Now, those are the bodies. They are already in existence. They've been in existence for as far as the legal profession started in Nigeria. But in the last few decades, they've abandoned their role of checking illegal legal practice. Let me use that word. Because what we were taught at the law school is that it's either your client has a case or not. You don't...
Like the forgery case going on, that they keep saying they are staying execution, CCT, you have no jurisdiction. Later they said he's biased. All this just trying to find a way to delay the process.
You see, in certain environments, like the UK where we borrowed our legal practice, once a lawyer is seen to be consistently doing that as part of his legal practice, he will simply be disbarred.
Imagine.
Yes, it's as strict as that. He won't be able to practice. He will be taken before the disciplinary committee of the bar there. They try him. He gets his own lawyer. Even at for example, in Nigeria too.
Who is supposed to disbar him? Isn't it not the people that are supposed to be SAN, the SANs?
No.
They are the people doing it. So who is going to disbar them?
No. You see, we have cases of lawyers disbarments in the First Republic, in the Second Republic.
Not anymore.
It's because we have the disciplinary body set up by the bar have abandoned their responsibility. It's the same thing when illegality has been going all this while and nobody's talking, and now that Buhari is talking, they want to start talking about witch hunting.
2 tweets as we run off. Oluwatoyin says, make politics less lucrative, render it powerless, then politicians will stop killing and borrowing money. And Folusha says, banks are claiming to be doing the legality now when there is no more money to get from federal government as a result of the single treasury introduced.
Unfortunately, we have to round up. Thank you very much, sir. I think we learned quite a bit from you. So, but the most important thing is that our viewers should understand that we're monitoring how these processes are going. If anything does happen to any bank, at least you have NDIC protecting your own funds. So at least we won't have any issues. All right, that's all we can take on the show. Tomorrow is Tuesday. We have a very interesting topic for you. Stay tuned tomorrow. See you. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.